Okay, hello. So today's Monday, September 26th, and if you're absent, then you should be watching this. All right, so we started off class with the do now of you just taking out a half sheet of paper and telling me what you remember about the definition of symbolism. Now, if you were not here for when I gave you the definition of symbolism, you need to go to my website and look at the lesson for Friday. And Friday was, let's see, 25, 24, the 23rd, I think. So the lesson should be 9:23. That's where you're going to find the definition of symbolism. So if you don't know what symbolism is, your do now for this lesson is to go and watch the lesson for Friday, 9:23. Okay, so we talked about symbolism and decided that it is an object, a color that represents a deeper meaning or an emotion to somebody. So, for example, a heart represents love. The American flag can symbolize, freedom, peace, justice to us here in the U.S. To other people in the U.S., even it doesn't symbolize that. So we also talked about how symbols mean different things to people just depending on their views. So after we did that, we started an art project. And so the materials that you will need for this lesson are, if you go to Google Classroom, okay, I'm going to use first period for this, click on the About section, go down to Foghorn Symbolism Art Project. You need to open this up, and for you it should be a view only. You are going to print this because there's no way to do art if you are, on the computer. I guess you could use Paint, but I actually want you to draw for this. So I'm going to break this down for you. Go ahead and pause me right now and print this out if you can. Okay, so once you have this in front of you, here's what you're going to do. We read the foghorn, and if you did not read the foghorn, you better read it. It's right here. Okay, right here. If you don't have it with you, you do have the story. There's an electronic version on Google Classroom. Okay, so for this project, you are going to literally draw what the monster looks like. Now, this word literally means as it appears in the text or as it appears in real life. So you are going to use textual evidence to tell you how to draw the monster. You're not going to use any creative judgment on your own part. You are going to draw it literally as it is described in the text. Now, if you go to the text and you go to page 4, and I'm going to give you a whole list of page numbers in just a second, you're going to find text evidence that tells you what the monster looks like. There's a huge paragraph, and towards the bottom, it'll say something like the monster had a huge head, it had immense eyes, which means big eyes. It was dark in color, it had neck, and not a body, but more neck. And so we know that the monster has a really long neck. So the monster that you'll end up drawing is going to be something that's got a big head, big eyes, a really long neck, and then a body that looks like an island with a whole bunch of shells and fish that live on the monster because the monster is so big. So that's the idea, is that you're going to go to all of the different page numbers that I have for you, and you are going to start with just highlighting and underlining where you see the monster physically described. Okay, now let's talk about this word symbolically. We just talked about it at the beginning of class, and you should know what it is. It should be in your notes. You are going to symbolically draw the foghorn and the lighthouse as the monster sees them. So I want you to pause, and I want you to think about how the monster sees the lighthouse. Why does he like the lighthouse? Why does he swim towards the lighthouse? Why does he attack the lighthouse? Well, the answer is that the lighthouse symbolizes a friend or a mate, in general, another monster, to the monster. And the monster's been alone for so long that it thinks it's found someone like him or her, right? So the monster symbolizes, not being alone anymore, having a friend. So this foghorn and this lighthouse, you are not going to draw as a literal foghorn and lighthouse. You're going to draw it symbolically, which means you are going to draw it like the monster sees it. So your lighthouse might look a little bit like a monster. So if you feel like you're doing like kind of a weird drawing when you draw the lighthouse, that's probably good. That means that you're on the right track for that. So for example, on page 7, the text says something like, the lighthouse has a neck like your neck, a voice like your voice. So that means the lighthouse probably has really tall, it's a tall structure that kind of looks like a monster's neck. Okay, so your lighthouse is going to be a little funky. That's okay. Let's take a look at text support. On your drawings, you need to have at least 10 quotes. And yes, I know that seems like a pretty big number, but I have so many pages for you where you will find so many quotes. You just won't know what to do with them all. So 10 quotes on your drawing. And I wish I had an actual example for you uploaded, but I don't. The idea is that whenever you draw, for example, the immense eyes, so the big eyes, and the immense eyes are seen in the text. So whenever you draw something that the text describes, you're going to draw a line from it. You're going to write the quote that said it, and you're going to write the page number. So if the monster is dark in color, and it said that in the text, I would color my monster in, and from one part of the monster, let's say its back, I would draw a line, and I would say dark in color, quote, page 4. Okay, so whenever I choose to describe the monster based on textual evidence, I'm drawing a line from that description to my evidence on the actual paper. So you're going to have art plus text evidence all on one page. I think I explained that pretty clearly, but email me if you have questions. Okay, here's an example of what your text evidence will look like right next to your drawing. Have a line out there from the monster to this. Okay, great. So that's the deal. You need 10 pieces of text evidence. You need to have the page number. You need to draw the monster literally and the lighthouse / foghorn symbolically. So in order for you to do this and not get too confused, I'm going to give you the page numbers that you need to take a look at. Okay, so either print this, oh, you can't print this, you could screenshot it, or just pause and write these page numbers down. This is where you are going to find all of your descriptions in the text and where you will get your 10 quotes from. All right, so is there anything else that I want to tell you? Yeah, so I would say that before you even start to draw, before you even start to color, you need to spend 10 minutes going to each of these pages, underlining, highlighting, annotating for that text evidence that describes the lighthouse, the monster, and then also the setting. Okay, 10 minutes on that. Once you're done, you can start drawing, including your quotes, and then I definitely want this colored. These beauties are going to go on the wall. Okay, so that was the deal for today. We just spent time drawing. Tomorrow we'll spend some time, 15 minutes drawing as well. And then after that, we're going to do our performance task 1, which is an essay. It's a test, which you do have to take. I will come after you if you don't take it. I need it. You need it. We need it. Okay, so I'll probably have you do that at home too. That'll all be uploaded to Google Classroom, and I'll have a little section recording explaining how to do performance task 1. All right, thank you. Email me if you have questions.